Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is your starter guide for Wolf Hawkfield in Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O. So in this video, we're going to be covering pretty much everything you need to know about the character. We're going to be highlighting his most important moves. We're going to give you some tactics to work with, both basic and advanced, and also just a bunch of combos just to get you ready to play Wolf and start grappling some people. So there's timestamps all over the video. Skip forward to whatever makes sense for you. If you could, leave a like. It helps a lot. And before we get into really anything else, let's talk about Wolf himself. Why would you want to pick Wolf? Well, part of the sell is pretty easy, actually. Yo, do you like pro wrestling? Because he's got hell of pro wrestling moves. He's a professional wrestler. He's very much in the heavyweight style of pro wrestler and is equipped with many legendary wrestling moves. So if you like wrestling, if you like clotheslines from hell, if you like shining wizards, if you like pedigrees, he'll bust out the shovel and bury you just like anybody else. All that and a lot more. But now let's talk in terms of gameplay. So Wolf is one of the main grappler characters in the game. So as of R.E.V.O, the balance patch that came with R.E.V.O, Wolf, I would say now, is fairly solidified as the #1 grappler. Beforehand, it was definitely a toss-up between him and Taka, the sumo wrestler. And Wolf got a lot of buffs to his throws, and Taka got a lot of nerfs to it. So that kind of settles that. Although Aoi over here, she definitely is a threat. She got some major buffs as well. But Wolf overall is king of the mountain now, as far as just grappling goes. So he has an incredibly varied grappling game. He does a lot of things that break the rules of the game. He has a lot of interesting traits only he has, not the least of which is he has the actual fastest move in the game. So the base strike, right, is 12 frames. Some characters are very blessed to have an 11 frames move. Some people like Vanessa get the cheat and have a 10 frame move. But the actual normal fastest moves are throws, and all throws are 10 frames. Except Wolf has 9 frame throws. His forward throw is always 9 frames, a spine buster. But now they buffed in R.E.V.O that his back throw, the exploder suplex, is also 9 frames. So Wolf has the actual fastest attacks in the game, and they're his back and his forward throw. So that's a great trait. That means he can attempt to throw punish moves that no other character in the game can. Certain frame situations get scarier because he can introduce a throw a frame earlier than other characters can. It's really about the throws. Wolf also has the single most damaging move in the game. It's a throw. Wolf has a bunch of catch throws. These are throws that cannot be teched in any way, shape, or form. And he's quite replete with them and got a lot of options to work with. So throw. Hopefully you're getting the gist here, right? He's about chucking y'all. Like, even his basic neutral throw is pretty alright, all things considered, considering how quick he recovers and can chase you down compared to the average character. So he's all about throwing, folks. If he gets a throw, he'll usually do more damage than another character, and he has more utility throws than other characters. So, what's the penalty? Well, when it comes to, like, the basic striking part of the game, he's as basic as it gets. He is, and you can consider this an advantage, I suppose, but he's one of the most simple characters. He's here to throw you. Not so much in the way of multi-layered mix-ups or confusing strings or chains. He's pretty basic in a lot of ways. The striking aspect of the game for him is just not that complex compared to the average character. He's got the bare minimum toolbox to make you stand still, hold block, and then get thrown. Okay, sure, fair enough. And he's got a good amount of buffs going into this. So we already talked about a few other things, which we're going to talk about later. Tomahawk got huge buffs. We also have his charging shoulder back, where he can just kind of take the 3-point stance and then bowl you over. This is the kind of move where you can't really afford to block it, because the stagger you get from this is so intense, he gets actual guaranteed damage from it. Like, the bot here is set to the fastest possible. Like, a human could never achieve this anyways. But they're set to the fastest possible breaks, and he still gets guaranteed damage, right? So re-adding that really helps his Okizeme game, like his pressuring his foes as they wake up, because this move also happens as a track. Like, whichever way you roll, it doesn't matter. He will auto-face during the tackle to come after you, right? So it's nice to have that move back, and of course he maintains the usual shoulder charge as well. And he certainly has some little gimmicks and tricks that we're gonna cover in the video, but overall, he's a fairly simplistic character. He is here to hit you with hell of pro wrestling moves. And he's got a lot of them. Fun fact, quite a few of these were motion captured by WWE superstar Asuka. So there you go. So now let's go to some of the most important tools of his moveset, the top 10 moves. They are obviously going to be going through all the moves in the moveset. You should know the whole roster, but some moves are more important than others. So let me highlight these for you and tell you why they're important. So is Wolf over? You're damn right he's over. So for move number 1, let's start with something fun. Let's start with the giant swing. And you've seen this move in other fighting games by other lesser wrestlers. Let's call it for what it is. Wolf is the originator of this move. Everyone else came later. So here's the thing. In R.E.V.O, giant swing, which is already an incredibly important move for the character, got buffed. So now, at bare minimum, it's always going to do 70 damage. The last part there, you see the hits turn green, right? The last part you can roll out of. So if the opponent does the right tech as they land, they won't take that extra 5 damage. But still, it's buffed straight up. And there's also 2 versions of the giant swing. There's the regular version and the perfect time version, where you'll see the camera will change. And this version also does even more damage. It will now do 80 damage at minimum. And if they don't do the perfect wake up, because it does have to be perfect, then they'll just take that extra 5. So it'll do 85 damage. That's titanic. Now, yes, Burning Hammer does do more, but Burning Hammer is a slower move. It's not regular throw speed. The giant swing is regular throw speed. So it can do monster damage. And obviously, the fact that it throws you very far away. Like, if it can interact with the wall at all, then you don't even get that opportunity to tech because you're going to bounce off the wall. And if you do a perfect time giant swing, and if you bounce off the wall, you get more damage. Over 100. If you're a little further away, you can do the shoulder. If you happen to be a little closer, you can do his wall rising punch. And it's still over 100 damage, right? That's nuts. And that's the wall, right? Suffice it to say, this is also basically the best ring out throw in the game. Suffice it to say, this is the best ring out throw in the game because he tosses you halfway across the friggin' map, right? So he can ring you out from distances other characters couldn't dream of as well. So it was already good, got a damage buff, so it's even better, has tons of utility. It's all upside. This is the king of throws in the game now. This is the best overall regular style throw, for sure. The one thing to note here, if you're not fast enough, you'll get the regular version and only do 75, maybe 70 if they get a perfect tech. The difference here, if I remember right, it's been a long time, but if I remember right, so the game wants a half circle forward, and you can achieve it by just hitting back down forward. You don't have to hit diagonal, say if you're like on a leverless or whatever, right? So if you want it perfect, I believe how it worked was the second you hit down, you then need to hit forward and punch and guard throw within 4 frames of hitting down. If you get it correctly, then you'll get a perfect throw. And if you don't, then you just get the regular throw. Secret is, it's not too hard to do. Just make sure you do throw as soon as you hit forward. Don't do the motion, then hit throw, which is usually how your brain's been trained over the years. Do the motion and hit throw. And you'll know you have it right when you see the camera shift and you get the extra damage. It's literally Wolf's signature move, and it actually got better in this version of the game. Lots to love. Okay, so we just said a cool move. Now for our next top 10 move, we have to do something that's really boring, but it's essential. Just down, forward, and punch. Down, forward, and punch is your fastest mid. Simple as that. It's always advantage on hit. If you manage to nab a counter hit, it is incredibly advantage, +7, at which point it's basically mix-up time. Force them to guess between a mid, or force them to guess between a throw. Really that simple. So, okay, done. You just have to use it. It's your fastest mid. People are going to be spamming crouch punch like crazy. That's how the game works. And if you want them to stop spamming crouch punch because you are difficult to throw, people are doing it because they're not standing up. All your really cool throws are highs. So them spamming this makes them not get thrown. So you say stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. And eventually they stand up, haha, get thrown. So that's why you need it. It's your fastest mid, simple as that. Next move to talk about is one of his mega buffed moves. And that is the Tomahawk chop. Wrestling note, it's not a Tomahawk chop, this is a Mongolian chop. A Tomahawk chop is one hand, Mongolian chop is both hands. So what got buffed about this move? So, the move where it looks like it jumps a little bit, now it actually does count as airborne. It didn't before. So now we're in a situation where no matter how much frame disadvantage you're at, unless it's not punishable, you will go over lows on frame 1. The frame you hit the button, you will automatically crush all lows. So So this is a great way to avoid lows no matter how big or small or how much down, jab, punch, spam they are. If you know something low is coming, you will always just go over it now. This is actually a monster buff to the move. That's buff 1 of 2. The other buff is it had a hit throw attached to it, where you go for a European uppercut. So this now always works. Before you had to counter hit the enemy specifically. Now you just do it. You don't have to worry about it. So as an attack, you can't be thrown. As a low crush, you can't be hit by lows. And now if it connects, you get the hit throw, and it doesn't knock them down. It actually leaves them at massive frame disadvantage and great frame advantage for you. So in this situation here, the opponent is hitting me with it and then going for a counter hit launcher. And if I hit down jab, I'm not going to win. The counter hit launcher is not the fastest move in the world, forward and kick, but has so much frame advantage it doesn't particularly matter. They're going to beat me every time. So if I hit them with this and they hit buttons, well, it's combo time, and for not insubstantial damage, you can do something with this, right? So it's just a move that was, all right before, got monster buffs, is a lot more useful, and puts you in the exact situations you want to be. You want to be scared to hit buttons, because the second they're scared to hit buttons, you throw them. Once again, it's kind of the name of the game. Next move up is our low drop kick, forward, down, and kick. So this move is weird, but it's also essential. Wolf doesn't have lows. He has this and the generic down kick. That is actually it. That is actually it. So if you want to hit them low, you got to go here. Little problem though. Notice how the opponent is blocking highs but not blocking lows? Well, you can sort of stand block this. So it doesn't hit if they stand block. It'll stagger them and do 0 damage, and it's not a particularly reliable stagger. If they're good at stagger breaking, they will recover before you do. So it's not a true low in that way. Here's the thing, and why it's a great pair now to our newly buffed Tomahawk Chop. So just like the Tomahawk Chop, it is incredibly evasive. Here I am, -10. Pi has an 11 frame jab. There's 1 frame away from being a punishable move. And yet, gotcha. The frame you press the button, you automatically go under all high attacks. Done. So Tomahawk Chop got buffed. At the frame you press it, you go over all lows. The little drop kick, the frame you press it, you automatically go under all high attacks. And here's the thing, you notice that, right? So if this hits as any kind of counter hit, a regular counter hit, a recovery counter hit, now instead of that little mini not good stagger, they just crumple down to the ground. And from here, you get actual guaranteed damage. So, well, okay, I'll give away a dark secret here. 99 times out of 100, you can go for the people's elbow, down, forward, punch, and kick, and it'll connect. So effectively consider this like a 2-hit combo. The initial hit, which will go off, and the people's elbow after the fact. So it'll be like 50-ish damage. And overall, for a very evasive low, that's sort of safe on block, a stand block anyways, it's not bad. And you also attempt to bully with your various grounded throws, if you choose to go for it. As far as I know, the only possible way to escape the people's elbow after the dropkick counter hit is to mash guard back roll. You do that, you'll just get out just in time. This is a severe knowledge check. You can only ever know this if you're told. Otherwise, it is actually guaranteed on every other permutation of wake up possible in the game. And now, you know it. So don't tell your friends, because they'll get out of it. That said, though, the regular elbow works fine. The regular stomp works fine. They just don't do as much damage. Those are always guaranteed. If you want to maximize your damage, it's people's elbow. But that's it. So basically, it's a weird low, but it's a good one because it's ultra evasive on frame 1. It'll go under every high attack in the game, as long as it's not an EX high. And you get a good crumple on counter hit. You get some free damage on a counter hit. So it's Wolf's only low, and it's only a weird low. But you got to use the tools you're given, and this is a pretty alright tool. Next important move to talk about is crouching, hold forward, so down forward, punch. And this is a little bit of an uppercut here. And just so you know, you can do a shortcut here to force this, just hit diagonal down forward twice, punch, and you'll do it instantly while standing. So you don't actually have to crouch, although while you're crouching, if you hold down forward, then that too. So 2 ways to do it. Why is this a good move? So it's not our fastest mid that's down forward and punch, but it is only 2 frames slower. It has a lot more advantage on hit. As you can see here, +4 instead of +1, and we don't got to worry about a counter hit. And if we do get a counter hit, it staggers. And the stagger is pretty important. This is a real stagger check make or break moment here. If the opponent cannot reliably break the stagger fast enough, just go forward punch. And on counter hit stagger specifically versus just regularly, on counter hit stagger specifically, it crumples the enemy. And you get a fairly, all things considered, like major combo from this. Like that's almost 100 damage. And it is staggerable. Like you can break out in time and block in time. Yes, absolutely. But you got to test them first. So if they eat this, if they can't stagger out and block this fast enough, this is actually one of your best combo starters. But bot is set to fastest stagger break here, and you do have time to break out. It's tight, but you can do it. So now, if they can reliably break out in time, then just use this as a mix engine. Like dash forward, and after this, make them guess throw, or make them guess like a powerful mid if they're trying to duck or get out of the throw, right? And we'll talk about that kick in a second. So it's really simple. It's very quick for what it is, 16 frame startup. You potentially get the world on counter hit. If it's a regular hit, it's still +4. +4 means you're advantaged enough to do the regular forward punch punch or forward punch plus kick. Like those are natural combos. That's actually one of the buffs. This is now a natural combo. It wasn't before. So it's enough frame advantage to guarantee you get this and, or, you know, make them block enough and then you throw them. It's also quite safe on block at -4. -4 is a pretty good number to be, as you can do the fuzzy guard technique after the fact. Just a good little workhorse of a move. Now, speaking of a workhorse of a move, we have down, forward, kick, and guard. This guy here, I call this, and I've always called this the magic kick, because this kick might as well be magic. It gives Wolf the world. This is one of his most ignorant moves. So you probably noticed on regular hit, no counter hit needed, it knocks the opponent down and it crumples. And yes, sirree, you better believe you get some pretty primo damage off this. Also, it tracks to one side. That's nice. It is admittedly a little slower, but it also has like titanic range. And it's one of those moves where I can't believe the numbers, because it says it's -8 on block, but it also introduces a lot of pushback. And from further distances, like -8 becomes like a suggestion. Like it doesn't really matter, especially if you hit later in the active frames and it's even less negative. So at ranges that you should be using it at, it's very low consequence actually to get blocked. It's one of your prime abare tools, meaning if you think you're going to get thrown, well, instead of like ducking a throw or trying to break if you think you're going to get thrown, just go for the move. Because throws lose to attacks, right? So while they're trying to throw you, just say, nah, get kicked in the stomach, go down. Other than the fact it is admittedly a bit slower of a move, this is everything Wolf could ever hope for in like a combo starter. Doesn't need a counter hit. It's a mid. So when people are ducking because they're terrified of the various throws, this will hit them, and it's a full combo every single time on hit. Every single time you get this move in, you laugh it all the way to the bank. If it gets blocked, unless it's literally point blank, it's zero consequence because it has intense pushback. It just kind of does everything. And since it kind of does everything, that's why I've always called it the magic kick. Keeping with very solid tools, just a big shoulder charge. So this actually has a different input now, because the original input is now given to the new, well, not new, but returning charge shoulder move. So now it's just forward, forward punch plus kick. Done. So here's the thing. It's mid, not duckable, and it just goes so far, so fast. Like, look at the relative ranges it can hit from. That's crazy. That's crazy. It is a top tier whiff punish button. If Wolf, regardless of the distance, is like anywhere away, you whiff a move, he's got you. Like, not necessarily a combo starter in and of itself or whatever, but it's just wicked fast. Whiff punishes everything. If you want a surprise approach, it's a pretty good surprise approach. And also, they have to tech the move. If they don't tech the move, notice how like their feet are up in the air, right? If they don't tech the move, just mini dash jab. Oh, whoops. You tap their toe, you juggle them. And it's a potentially nightmare scenario, as you can see there, right? That's a little spacing dependent, but still. Yeah, so you have to tech roll the move. Otherwise, you're done like dinner. So it's just an amazing move, a great tool in the arsenal. Wolf can be on top of you regardless of where he is and a moment's notice. So it's really a move you have to respect. Next important move is half circle back punch. And this here is Wolf's spin knuckle. So this is a 14 frame mid, just like down forward and punch. It's a little different though. This is an EX mid. What does an EX mid mean? Well, it means, unlike the regular down forward punch, this can be blocked while crouching. Although if it's blocked while crouching, it pops the enemy up and gives you advantage frames. It changes the frame data. Versus they blocked it while standing being -8, which is a little rough. But here's the thing, it's actually 2 attacks. So on top of the attack, you'll also, if you hit punch again, do a follow-up. And this is very delayable. So you don't have to do it, you can do it right away if you want, but you don't have to do it. You can see what happens, or even better yet, you can hit confirm it. Unlike down forward punch, this actually causes a little launch on counter hit. And if it launches, well, it combos into itself. And against lighter characters, like Pi, you can just do this by itself and hits as a counter hit. You can actually get some, like, okay damage. Not mega combo, but, like, certainly more than the no combo at all down forward punch gives. Also, this has partial tracking. This is one of the big deals. Wolf doesn't have much great anti-evasion moves, and nor should he, because once again, throws beat sidesteps. So if you're worried they're gonna sidestep, you just throw them. But still, this gives some anti-evasion he doesn't normally have, so it's a nice tool to have. And it's just another good tool in the toolbox. It's stagger pressure in and of itself, natural combo on counter hit, mini launch on counter hit, anti-tracking. Good little bundle of properties. Next move, quick and dirty back and punch. Back and punch is a 15 frame mini launcher. So you'll get small combos from this. Not big combos. That's not the design. It is 15 frames. Many bigger moves are 15 frames on block. Many launchers, if they try to launch you and you block, are 15 frames negative on block, meaning this is guaranteed every time. So generally in those scenarios, this is going to be your maximum damage output, whichever combo you want to get. Not big combos, but it's basically go to punish button. Simple as that. Okay, for our final move, we're going to cheat a little bit, okay? So I should tell you forward and kick. Because it's really good, it's safe on block, it's a good counter hit launcher that gives you a good amount of damage from it, right? It's a good workhorse that you're going to want to use a lot. But let's go fun with it. Let's go fun with it. So instead, let's go charge, punch, and kick together the big chop. So the big chop is a big stupid move that's really fun. So, and this move, you can absolutely abuse people who do not know how to deal with it. So it is effectively a 45 frame unblockable. It is a mid. It also tracks part way. You can step it one way, but not the other. And if this move hits on hit or on block, it's a bad time for you. And it is the kind of intense guard break that punch kick is actually guaranteed. The bot is set the fastest break right now. It doesn't matter. This is actually guaranteed. And if you want to play it safe, it's still good damage and it leaves you at 4 frames of advantage. Punch kick is really good for Wolf. It's a workhorse, quick string, and if it connects, it's always advantage. That's nice. But anything less than fast is timing. Then we go back to that scenario we talked about earlier in the top 10 moves. Forward and punch will crumple someone's stomach crumple if it connects during this stagger state. And from there, you can start just getting a little sassy damage. Or if their stagger break timing is quite poor, screw it. Just launch them. It's an option you got on the table, right? Screw it. Go for it, right? So this is one of the prime moves, and we'll talk more about wake up pressure and all that, where if you knock the opponent down, you have any kind of wake up advantage. Just as they're getting up, start charging this. This is a prime deer in headlights move, where they'll see the windup and they'll just freeze. It's not scientific play by any stretch, but it doesn't need to be. It's 45 frames, it's less than a second. If they blink and they don't sidestep the right way, they get got, because you have to sidestep the right way, and it tracks one way as well. So do it as they're getting up, or if you think they're just going to be paranoid and just stand and not react, it's a good way to open people up. All right, so now let's talk Wolf and the throw game. Sort of the reason you're picking the character, right? So let's just go through a few traits really quick. His forward throw and his regular back throw are both 9 frame throws. These are the single fastest throws in the game, and they can catch things other throws simply cannot. They're obviously not the most damaging, but they're quick. This is a trait unique to Wolf and Wolf only, and it got better in R.E.V.O because before it was only the forward throw, now it's the forward and the back throw. This means he is the only character in the game that can attempt to punish a move that's -9 on block. -9 on block's pretty negative, but normally the magic number is beginning at -10 for throw attempts. For him, it is -9. If he blocks a -9 move, it's immediately a 50-50 guess which throw. Besides that, many throws have lots of utility. You don't want to necessarily just do the most damaging throw. Like Burning Hammer is great. It is great. You know, it does 100 damage, but it is a little bit slower. That's a forward throw break. For back throw breaks, your biggest throw is the F5. This is 75 damage, which is incredible for a back throw. But there's other back throws as well. Like say a half circle back throw doesn't do as much damage, but the utility is it leaves you directly on top of the enemy. There's no space between you both. Also, it's probably what you'll get if you botch the 360 input. 360s are a little different in Virtua Fighter. You start with the up button and then you do the motion, or you start with down and then you work your way to up then to back. It's a little different. It's a little different. But yeah, regardless, pretty much every throw has its place. And of course, yes, you probably want to go for as many giant swings as you can. That said, though, it's a forward break. That's why the back break buttons especially are extra useful, because if you're fighting Wolf, forward break, forward throw break should be the first thing you're aiming for. Wolf also regained his back toss. Hit back throw, and he'll, well, throw you to the ropes, as it were. Good for ring outs. Also, against any kind of wall, it will stagger the opponent. Well, sort of writes itself, basically. Easy wall combos. And specifically against the wall, Wolf has two very powerful wall-based throws. Forward back and throw, and that's 70 damage on the wall, and it's a back break. And also just forward and throw, and it's 75 damage. Also, this is also a 9-frame throw as well, just like the regular forward throw. Wolf also has lots of throws based off attacks. They're not necessarily throws in and of themselves, just the throws part of the experience, I guess. Also regaining the Stone Cold Stunner. So this was gone for a while. It is now back. Wolf also has many catch throws. So catch throws are untechable. They cannot be teched in any way. You cannot break the throw. And they also beat attacks, although the throws themselves are a little slower. So we have forward throw. This is the Diamond Cutter. We have up forward and throw. This is the Shining Wizard. They both do 50 damage. I believe Diamond Cutter is 1 frame faster. So if you're just looking for pure numbers, otherwise it's mostly just your preference. And he also has back forward throw, which is the clinch throw. This is the collar and elbow tie-up, basically. So this throw is unbreakable, but it has multiple options, and all the options from that are breakable. So when you're clinched, you have 3 options. Back throw, chucks them. And kind of works on the properties that you would think. Good for ring outs, gives a guaranteed hit with the shoulder charge. Very powerful against the wall in ways you would expect, naturally enough. Clinch neutral throw is forward toss. And much the same. I'll spider you against the wall, do all the wall stuff. Doing this, the neutral throw mid-screen just gives a guaranteed frame advantage. And from there, basically you can get small launchers and some smaller guaranteed combos as well. And the forward, well, it switches sides. And then from here, we have a whole nother set of throws. So now that we're switched sides, a new forward throw is just crushing your head open. The new back throw is a big dunk on your head and does 70 damage. And the new neutral throw is another big shove. This one, because it's plus 20, means your shoulder check's just guaranteed the launcher. And it was already extra guaranteed too, because back turn means additional frames to turn around. As you can see here, damage is pretty alright. 90 damage. So it takes technically 2 breaks, because they can break this first opportunity, then they can break the second one. But, you know, that's the price you pay for big damage, right? Now, keeping the throw ball rolling, I guess. Yo, he's got crouching throws. And his are unequivocally the best in the game. They do a lot of damage. And he's got so many. He even has multiple down forward breaks. Like, just for variety's sake, I guess, right? Like, so that's 2 of them. This is down break. That's 60. Here's down back break. That's good for ring outs, by the way. And here's double down back break. They brought back the pedigree, and this also does 75, right? So there's 5 crouching throws. Part of the throw game being scary is people are going to try to crouch throws. So this is a hard call out. And when you do, well, then you dunk them on their head and they die. Pretty simple. Wolf is also one of the few characters to have grounded throws. So this specifically got buffed pretty big time here. So down grounded throw, just down throw. Now we'll pick the opponent up and bounce them on the wall if they're anywhere near the wall. So this leads to heinous stuff in the corner where, like, if you do not tech roll and then you don't tech this throw, it's actually game over. Like, you are actually just done. Bye-bye. Touch of death. Like, you have to tech the throw. There is validity in not always wanting to tech roll against Wolf because, like, he's got some stuff, and we'll cover that later. But if you don't, you just have to break that throw. You have to break the throw. It's just hold throw, hit, and hold down. That's how you break it. So if you just chose to not get up, just hold throw and hold down. That's it. You'll automatically break the throw every time. There is the ground forward grounded throw, where, like, depending on the angle here, they do like a ankle lock or like a clothesline or whatever. That's much preferable because you don't automatically die. So if you're anywhere near a corner, always break the down ground throw. Don't worry about the down forward one. This down forward one is just be a couple points of damage versus the down one is game over. Now, Wolf actually has some interesting defensive traits. He has the raw, and this is kind of like tanking a hit. And he has down punch and kick, which is a unique only to him, specifically crouch punch counter. And we've gone over it in many videos. Crouch punch is everyone's best move. So having a move to specifically call it out is really nice. We'll start with that. So we find ourselves in a scenario, any scenario, many scenarios, where someone's spamming crouch punch. Sure. It's hit down, punch and kick, and this move once again is only tailored to be crouch punch. And if you catch him doing it, you give him a quick bop. And from there, there's actually some interesting options. So one of the buffs they gave to Wolf is when you kick him in the head, if you hit throw when you do that, you'll then follow up with the Shining Wizard. And with the Shining Wizard, you get a lot of damage. The timing is tight. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the thing, is they made the window a little bit easier. But the thing is, it's still tight. Before it was like a legitimate just frame. Now I think you have like 2 or 3 frames of leniency, but it's still not the easiest. But there's that. Okay, so guaranteed damage. But then there's the one that, for most of the time I think you want to take, is when you do the move and you get the counter and just hit back right away, he'll do basically like a shoot wrestling switch up, right? And from there, they're back turned and you're plus 15. Given in this game, it takes time to turn around, plus 15 guarantees forward punch and kick, even though it's an 18 frame move. So if you get this, it's a free guaranteed launcher. From there, it mostly writes itself. Just get your hit in, get your combo, and get some easy damage. Shining Wizard does a few more points of damage generally, and of course, the back turn switches sides. But I find this just a bit more reliable. Once again here, when you do the counter, just hit back right away. Like, whether or not you got it, don't look for you getting it. Just input down punch plus kick and then back immediately. And from there, well, you just do it automatically, combo time, and just writes itself, right? So that's a very strong defensive move. Now, next up, let's talk the other defensive trait he has. That's the raw. So this is a counter stance, just all 3 buttons together. And he's like basically daring you to hit him. That's sort of how it works. Because if you dare to hit him, he'll grab you and then you're going for the ride, to say the least. Now, there's a lot of little caveats about this. One, you will take damage during this move. It's not going to be a lot, but that's the price for inviting the hit, is you take a little damage. 2, it works against a lot of kind of attacks. It works against all sorts of high and mid punches, elbows, kicks, and knees. And the type of throws you get actually are different if you catch a leg or an arm. So if you catch a leg, it's more leg-based offense. If you catch an arm, it's more like the suplexes that you saw earlier. It can even catch bigger hits. Sometimes counters have like a damage threshold. This one doesn't. This will catch your bigger hits. You're good to go. The thing is, it cannot catch moves that's explicitly knock down. It can be the right category of high or mid, punch, elbow, kick, knee. But if the move knocks down, it doesn't matter if it did 1 point of damage. If it knocks down, the counter will not activate. So you do have to be somewhat particular. Can't just toss this out and be free. If it caught everything, this would be one of the best moves in the game, right? So the caveat of if it knocks down, it won't work. Meaning, a lot of like bigger launchers and all that stuff, you're not countering those, even if they are knee-based attacks. But generally, if you're struggling and you're like your back's against the wall, you don't know what's coming next, it's not the worst option. Just it's very particular about what it'll get. And the weird moves like double palm moves or headbutts, it can't deal with any of those because there's no animation for it. So interesting defensive trait. You take a little damage, but the reward is potentially way bigger than a normal counter, because some of those throws do a lot of damage. But of course, like many things, when you get them in some sort of state like that, they will have a chance to break whatever you're doing next. So keep that in mind. Also, to close out the defensive section, just as a reminder, we have mentioned earlier in the video, but his drop kick and his newly buffed and improved Tomahawk chop, drop kick goes under highs, frame 1, Tomahawk chop goes over lows, frame 1. So when you're dealing with offense coming your way, if it's a high or a low, you always have the ability to avoid it. Now, next up, let's talk a fairly simple but important part of his moveset, and that's the deadly move. So what's so deadly about it? Well, it's a 300-pound Canadian man ripping your head off. That's what's deadly about it. So this is not something you want to do by itself. This is a command run. This is different than regular running. Specifically, you just do it by hitting forward and all 3 buttons. And if you hold it, he'll keep doing it. And in fact, this is one of the better troll moves in the game, as if you go past the enemy, he'll just keep running by you. And it's a good way to ring yourself out on purpose if you still feel inclined. You can almost, like, in a way, look at this not so much as just like a run, but like a moving stance, if you will. You have very limited options. Note the enemy is set to block everything right now. One of those options is from the move, just hit punch, and oh, it's an unblockable clothesline. You have to duck it. End of story. If you do not duck it, your head gets taken off. There's also kick and guard, which is a giant drop kick, which is also unblockable. The benefits of an unblockable move, I think, mostly write themselves. I don't really got to spell it out. Yo, you can't block, die. There is also punch and kick, which is the shoulder charge. And it's the same shoulder charge as like the regular forward punch and kick. It's a little less negative on block. It's safe on block, I guess. But it really busts down to 2 things. There's the kick and the throw. These are the actual 2 options you're really going to worry about. So we'll start with the kick. The kick's a mid. So if you're trying to duck any of that unblockable stuff for the throw, which we'll mention in a moment, you get bopped. So you can't crouch. And if it hits, I don't need anything special. It's plus 19. No counter hit needed. No nothing needed. It is plus 19. And from plus 19, you get guaranteed combos. It writes itself. And the combo damage will always be pretty respectable. You only need to get a few hits. The initial knee and whatever juggle you do after the fact are already going to stack up the damage as it stands. So you get very big damage. So, okay, it's a mid. I better stand block. And if you stand block, haha, get thrown, idiot. That's sort of Wolf 101, right? So the throw from the deadly move is a catch throw. That means you cannot tech it in any way, shape, or form. You cannot sidestep it. You can't attack it. Well, you can attack it if you beat it. But if you attack and the move comes out first, probably going to win. Which I guess I should have mentioned this earlier. This is one of your main moves. When the opponent's knocked down, you want to set up the deadly run after the fact. Because they kind of have to wake up into it. And from the throw, boy howdy. We are getting a lot of damage as well, as you can see. So it really mostly breaks down to that. The throw, you'll get 90-ish, and the knee, you'll get 80-ish. Both are terrifying. Once again, most of the time you're going to be doing this on their wake up, and as they wake up, they'll wake up into either the throw, or if they're scared of the throw, they'll wake up into the knee when they're trying to crouch it. And you can also cancel it by jumping backwards. Like, say your opponent is inclined to mash wake up kicks. Fair enough. You know, with the tackle, Wolf's very tailor-made to beat all that stuff. So you can kind of do the charge fake out by just hitting up, back, and block at the same time to do a jump. And that's just a good way to bait out wake-up attacks. And, you know, once that's beaten out of them, you're running, and it's effectively guess 50-50 high grab or mid knee, and you're eating a full combo either way. Also, for R.E.V.O specifically, good buff for Wolf, bad nerf for Taka. The throw now works against Taka. Like, before it didn't. Like, at all. Like, he would get thrown, there was no combo afterwards. Like, now you don't get the exact same combo you do on everyone else, because it's still Taka, but, like, it works now. It didn't work before. Now, just some notes for Wolf and just general knockdown pressure stuff. This isn't like, say, Street Fighter, where there's like a million frame perfect setups. There's a lot of ways out of a lot of things. But generally, Wolf has a good idea of what he wants to be aiming for off most knockdowns. Let's take the 3 most common combo enders. So back kick and guard kick, the double kicks. We have forward kick and guard, the big knee. And half circle back punch punch. These are generally how you're going to want to end most combos. and they all roughly mostly do the same kind of damage, within a couple points. These all allow for recovery, as you would expect, right? From whatever combo you're doing. It could be a bigger combo, it could be a smaller combo. They all can be tech rolled, and like sort of by design, like naturally. It's just a matter of when they're allowed to tech roll. Like for the big leaping knee, they can tech roll basically almost immediately. And for that knockdown on most combos, if they tech roll, the end result is pretty simply like you're either even or like +1. Like if you both mash out, depending on the height, you might be +1 and you'll win if you both mash. Other than that, like that's pretty much it. If you do the knee enders, they tech roll, you're just both standing in each other's face and either neutral or very slight advantage. If you end a combo with screw hook, they will fall a little bit later and they can still tech roll, and it's enough time to like kind of move forward, advance, and then see what's going on. And if you end with the double kicks, you have the most time of the 3 moves to like dash forward, assess see what's going on. So do whatever combo. All right, double kicks, and you can get a full dash and then still be standing before they're even recovered from their tech roll. Me, personally, I prefer this option just because it gives you the most time to mentally assess what's going on. Because if they tech roll, and these are options, by the way, for all knockdowns, but this one just gives you the most time. But if they tech roll, and specifically tech roll to the side, one of the big tricks of the game is if they do specifically a side tech roll, you can catch them while they're standing up and get them with a crouch grab. They can still block either way, but in the act of standing up from a side tech roll, they count as crouching, and it is susceptible to crouch grabs, and Wolf has the best crouch grabs in the game. The basic mix is, okay, run forward, oh, you got up, I'll hit you with a mid, maybe, the new stunner. If the kick connects, the stunner is guaranteed now, no having to guess a 3-way mix like before when it transitioned to the catch throw. So just mid, guaranteed damage, go, and it's good damage too. Or, like shocker, throw him. Like, that's kind of the thing of the character, right? So any of the 3 knockdowns work. It's the same basic idea. It's just a matter of the timing of it all. I just like this just because it gives you the most time to assess what's going on. But you do you. Don't worry. Like, whatever works for you, do it. I'm just giving you what I like. I also like it because it gives you enough time to assess if they're not teching. Like after your dash, like, oh, you didn't actually do anything. Okay, you didn't roll. So then, well, people's elbow. Let's go. Okay, you're not getting up. Boom. You're just like mashing wake up kick. I'll knock you out of it with the people's elbow. So it's as simple as do whatever move, dash. Did they tech? Okay, go for the mix. If not, give them a little love tap on the ground or remind them why they should tech. And of course, we mentioned last section here, the command run, is really good as general pressure when they're getting up. And since it's quite good at jumping backwards, as you can see here, you can also avoid wake ups and punish them with shoulder. To be brutally honest also, just do down forward kick and guard on their wake up. It surpasses the damage threshold of wake up kick. So if you hit at the same time, this does more damage than wake up kick, so it'll trade and win. And it's also Omega safe on block. It's a mid. Like, you are basically not losing out by doing this 90% of the time. And eventually they just start blocking and haha, get thrown, right? So it's a simplistic knockdown pressure game, but it works for what the character is. Okay, now the combo section. Wolf's combos are mostly limited. They're not amazing. They get good damage for what they are. And we're just going to do this fairly quick fire. So I'll show you the move, slow-mo, and then move on to the next one. If you need to catch up, we'll rewind, I guess. And we'll start here first with down forward and kick and guard. This is the money maker. This is where like most of your big combos are going to start from. And let's show you an example combo. The ender, it can be this, it can be screw hook, it can be knee, it can be a lot of different things. I just like that one as mentioned in the Oki section. Do what works for you, but this is a very staple combo for Wolf. For Taka, you got to change it just a little bit because, well, he's a special boy. You get a little bit less damage, but it's still good damage. Next up, back and punch. This is a quick knockdown, and we have a route that's truly universal, works on everyone, even Taka, and that is this. So 50-ish damage, For what it is, pretty respectable. There is a more damaging route though for characters that are middleweights or lighter. So once again, just not the heavy characters, Wolf, Jeffrey, Taka, or some of the extra heavy middle heavyweights like Akira or John. So a little tricky, a little more advanced, but as you can see, like it's 64 damage. So it's a tangible reward if you want to go just for the extra damage with the character specific stuff. Here's one for back down forward punch. So this is a gigantic head crumple move. It's a mid, and also you get a full combo on hit. The only deal is, well, it's a little bit slower, but the reward is big. And this works on everyone but Taka, where the combo just gets mangled because he's weird and big. It's much the same as kind of the regular sidekick combo. The damage, as you can see, is very, very real, though. Also, if you're so inclined, half circle forward throw has a special throw from it. Doesn't do as much damage. But if you're just looking to do cool guy stuff, this works. Also, this works on Taka. So that's generally what you're going to go for against Taka, because every other Taka combo does less damage. Next up, forward punch and kick. This is a mid launcher. It has no caveats. It just works. Although, the unfortunate thing is, hit someone who's specifically crouching, it just basically will not launch them. So it'll hit someone who is mid, but they have to be standing for the combo. That said, the combo's pretty alright. So solid ender, and you can end it with the usual enders. Fun little buff. Since Wolf doesn't weigh as much anymore, this works on regular hit now. This combo did not work on Wolf before without a counter hit. So it's very universal now. Now, a big one, back forward punch and kick. This is his big launcher. His big launcher is a little slower than everyone else's. You know, he's not meant to be the same style of combo character everyone else is, but still it's there and it's valuable. And let me show you the most universally applicable combo I can for you here. So over 90 damage, that's pretty okay. The one trick, though, is we're using the big hammer move here, right? This move counts as crouching cortical forward punch. But if you do double cortical forward, you can do it just while standing. You can trick the inputs. And it's pretty integral to the combo. But yeah, 90 damage, over 90 damage is a good reward. But it doesn't work on Taka. Half the reason you should play Taka is because most combos don't work on Taka normally. Like, you're literally here to abuse people's lack of knowledge about the character. But you can still get damage against them. And it's still actually pretty okay. Not as much, but pretty okay. So you can get 83 damage. Not quite 90, but 80 still very respectable. Now, the last major one to talk about here is forward and kick. So this only causes a crumple on counter hit, not on regular hit, but you are usually going to be fishing for the counter hit. And when you get it, it's very obvious as they kind of fall to the ground. I'll tell you right now, versus Taka, that's it. This Taka has special rules. But versus the rest of the cast, you can get a pretty alright combo. Simple and easy, pretty much universal. Abuse it is good damage. Or other stuff like deadly run toss combos, it's in that appropriate section. You see what I did there. But now let's move on to wall combos and the basics of that. So for basics of wall combos, we're just looking for some way to splatter the enemy against the wall. That's where the magic begins. And usually, not always, but usually it's going to be predicated on the fact that like we staggered them into the wall, then we splatted them. Moves like back and punch and kick together are good. His back kick is also good, although you got to be a little closer to the wall for that. Down forward punch, the shortcut for the wall standing, also really good. One of the few uses for down forward punch and kick together is for staggers against the wall, because it has pretty intense pushback, so it's really handy in that way. And as soon as you land one of them, just go for the splat. And of course, you can get the splat by itself, either off shoulder or knee or something like. There's lots of ways to just force people up against the wall. Here's what happens generally. This is a pretty much universal wall combo, works on everybody. This is what you're going to go for once you get the wall splat. And then you get appreciable damage. And of course, the usual Oki from the kicks and all that kind of stuff. It's not the highest damage wall combos ever, but it's there. Also, fun bonus. Against middleweight and lower characters specifically, you do get an extra hit at the end. So same combo as before, we're just changing the ender. With the lighter characters, they're just in the air for a fraction longer at the very end, and then you can get the hammer at the very end. You can against the heavier characters, but this works on over half the cast, and it's just free extra damage. And that's Wall Combos 101. It's not too complex, and well, it's not too complex a character. It's here to throw you. And a reminder, by the way, if he throws you like Giant Swing into the wall, you can also get a free hit afterwards and get over 100 damage. And that's Wolf 101. He's not that complex. This is like a 50-minute video. I tried to make this shorter, but when I talk about grapplers, I'm going to talk a lot, okay? Despite it being a 50-minute video, trust me, he's actually not that complex. He has a limited offense, especially compared to like more advanced characters. He's just got enough to, you know, make you want to block, and once you block, get chucked. That's how the character works. And a lot of the throws are very satisfying to do. If you like grapplers, you like the big throws, well, dude's got the big throws in spades, to say the least. You like the grappling, maybe try out some of the other characters as well, like Jeffrey's throw game got big buffs in R.E.V.O, Owie as well. Taka, his got nerfed, but Taka actually used to have the best throw game before. So now the actual wrestler has the best throw game, as it probably should have been to begin with. And a little final bonus. So if you can get catch, back turn, shove, this is not the optimal damage as shown earlier in the video, but it's optimal style. Stone Cold Stunner actually has two versions. One that hits in front and one hits in back. And if you can get back turn, shove, it guarantees a back turn stunner. And that just looks really, really cool. And that's Wolf 101. So long video. If you got this far, hey, leave a like. It sincerely helps the video out. And other than that, that is the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some Virtua Fighter.
This is the